Good day, everyone. Today I have Dr. Tidiane Ouattara with me. He is the GMES and Africa Program Coordinator and the Space Science Expert of the African Union Commission. And today we'll be talking about the progress with the African Space Policy and the implementation of the African Space Agency program. A lot of people have questions around this. They want to know what's going on with the African Union driven space program. And today we have an expert that would answer this question. You're welcome, Dr. Ouattara.
Thank you, Mr.
So let me start with the question that everyone is asking. What is the current update on the African space policy and strategy implementation?
Again, thank you, Mr. Timidayo, and that is really an opportunity I'd like to take to thank Space in Africa, a young player in Africa in space matter, for the excellent work you and your team are doing, and that is very well appreciated at the African Union level, because this is what we want. The Africa we want is the Africa led by Africans, and you young people, because you all are young, you young people, you are doing tremendous work, and we appreciate that. That being said, I would say it is an opportunity for the African Union Commission also to communicate with Africans through this interview. Yes, we are seeking and we are taking opportunities of all platforms to share with Africans the progress made and the status. Under the leadership of Professor Sarah Anyang, who is the Commissioner for the Department of Science and Technology, and also the Director, Dr. Mahamal Draego, who is a scientist, I would say the space policy and strategy implementation is going very well. First of all, I would like to explain to our colleagues Africans that coordinating managing 55 countries' input, it is not easy. I'm talking about the timeline. I know we are eager to see something running quickly right away, but the reality is a little bit different. And we are seeking for patience. We want people to be a little bit patient, but we are on the very good track. The space policy has been adopted in 2016. And we have two things to do. To be able to implement the space policy and strategy, we have to look at the governance, meaning how to lead all these things through the continent. But in doing that, we also have to start acting on the ground, meaning to start developing some pillars or key elements of what could be the African Outer Space Program. This is what we have been doing. For the governance, thanks God, I would say we did a lot on the African Space Agency. I will come back to that. But for the Outer Space Program development, I would say the African Outer Space Program is one of the flagship programs of the African Union Commission. Because of that, it is a priority for the African Union Commission. And the space policy and strategy have been adopted by the head of state and government, meaning it is more than a priority, it is a compass for us for the space matters. What we did, first of all, we succeeded, I would say, in promoting and creating awareness. All African nations today are aware of the capability and the advantages to use space. That was not a done deal, because some Africans will tell you, we have water problem, we are talking about exploration of space. We took time to explain to them to what extent space can facilitate the research for water. Space can facilitate the water quality. Space can facilitate the investment in water challenges. And the examples are numerous. Meaning, we had to explain to Africans how space can help them to address their daily challenges, be food security, be waste management, be transportation, etc., etc., flood, disaster risk reductions, all these kind of things. It was not easy because we had to use the languages and the key people that could communicate easily with the citizens. It is an ongoing work, but I would say that is the first achievement. For your consideration, we have 3 types of African countries in terms of space. There are a few, 4 or 5, that were there, that have been there for years. I don't want to quote them, they are very well known: Egypt, South Africa, Nigeria, Algeria. And you have the newcomers in space, meaning those who are investing in space for, for real: Ethiopia, Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, etc. And you have the third part, which is made of countries that have needs for space science, technologies, and tools, but that do not have capacities to get there. We had to bring all these people together. This is what we succeeded in doing through the African Space Stakeholders Dialogue meetings. And the intent is to bring space expert and non-space expert to talk together. And it has been the case also through the African Space Working Group, but that was made up of experts. But the stakeholders group is made up of some people who do not have any clue with the space, but they are decision makers, and we wanted them to be on board. We also succeeded in doing some baseline studies, because if the African Space Agency is in place, they have to start somewhere based on some very good documentation to develop the programs. The studies we are doing are kind of environmental scan of each of the 4 segments. We completed the Earth observation, the private sector's, roles and what is their status in terms of Earth observation. We succeeded in having a kind of environmental scan of navigation and positioning. And we are planning to do a study on the socio-economic impact, the space socio-economic impact on the African, I would say that's the space impact on the African socio-economic and environmental challenges. And also astronomy, also the SATCOM. That is coming. All these things will help Africans also to see the landscape. It is not only for the African Space Agency, and we will be working with Space in Africa and other communication forums and mediums to be able to share these subjects, which is for the Africans, because it is the Africans' money. And the work will be done, and those who have been done by Africans. This is what the Africa we want. Africans are telling the realities. And again, it is an opportunity to congratulate Space in Africa for your annual report, the Space Industry Report 2019. I'm using it as a Bible or Quran, it depends on your religion, because this document includes several critical and credible information. You see, we are doing a lot, but a lot remains to be done for sure. Our role as African Union Commission, we are a secretariat of the African Union. Our role is the coordination, the promotion, to bring people together. But we do not have to forget, at the national level, it is about sovereignty. Then it is about the national space agencies and space institutions, whatever their names are, to do the implementation in their countries. But what we want to do it together. Instead of them repeating what has been done somewhere in Africa, they can take advantage. And they can also pull those who are behind. This is most of the time we are calling cross-fertilization, sharing information. And that is one of the key of the African integration.
Awesome. Thank you very much for clearing that out. The Egypt was selected as the host for the African Space Agency, and that has been done for over a year now, something. And people want to know what is the current status of this agency. When are they going to start operations and all of that?
Thank you very much. Again, we are facing the same challenges. People, and that is a very good, it is very good news for us when we see Africans being excited. That was not the case years ago. It means that the mayonnaise is taking. This is what we can say. Let's see, in 2016, the Space Policy and Implementation Strategy was adopted. 2 years later, in 2018, we succeeded in adopting the statute in 2 years, meaning we succeeded in bringing 55 African countries together with different policies, with different interests, to speak one voice, to have a statute. When we talk about a statute, there is legal implications, there is economic implications, there are several things. It takes time, but within 2 years we succeeded. 1 year later, and that is the maturity of Africa now. 1 year later, in 2019, the head of state and government made an historical decision to choose Egypt as hosting country. You know, with the international organization, the process takes time because there are many other factors. It is not like a national issue when a government can make quickly a decision. We are talking about a continent. And Mr. Temidayo, you know, we have geopolitics, we have many other considerations to take into account. Thanks God, in 1 year we succeeded in having the hosting country. We are in 2020. I will tell you, it is not a secret. Professor Sarah Anyan, Dr. Ma, the structural and financial implications, that in front of or before the subcommittee in charge of finance. I will tell you something. The African Space Agency is an organ of the African Union Commission. As such, it has to follow all the process as other organs. It is different from the European Space Agency, which has, for example, its own member states. The African Space Agency, all African countries are de facto members of the African Space Agency. Whatever we do, we have to do a lengthy consultation. We were there when COVID came. And all people know the impact of the COVID. The COVID became the priority among the priorities. And space, like many other subject matters, was a little bit delayed or slow just to focus on COVID, which is a pandemic, very dangerous. We've never seen that. Therefore, that is the situation where we are. We hear several comments saying, oh, you know, it is not going very well. No, that is not true. Again, I'm repeating, the African Union Commission is dealing with 55 countries. It means what it means. But despite that, our leaders are working hard to get the African Space Agency operational. The targeted date was 2023. We can say we still have time, but in the same vein, to be frank with people, we also have to take into consideration the impact of COVID. But what is sure, what is clear, Africa is moving and we are on the good track. Again, I can tell you for sure that our leaders want us to be there. Even by yesterday, we want to be there. Then the African Space Agency will be a reality soon. And the financial, structural and financial implications, it is simple. People are asking, how the African Space Agency will be funded. I want to anticipate to that question. It is simple. It is an organ of the African Union Commission. Then the baseline funding will come from the member state. And as all space agencies in the world, the partnership programs developed under partnership can come with a bit of money, and the nations also, African nations, can come with specific programs and projects, on which they want other Africans to work on. And it could be also funded by financial institutions and some international partners. We have some potential funding sources already targeted, and with whom we are, or with which we are in discussion to get the things, moving forward quickly once the African Space Agency will be in place. It is clear that the fundamental funding will come from the African Union member state. As currently the outer program is space, the African Outer Space Program currently is funded by AUC, the member state. This is what I would like to say here, and with respect to that question.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. One of the implementation strategies for the African Space Agency is the aspect of capacity development, and one of the plans is to run this through the Pan-African University on Space Science and Technology. Is there any update on this yet? When do you think the university will start running and admitting students?
Yeah, that is a very good question. We are right, and we are sharing that with all stakeholders, even Africans or the partners of Africa. We are always saying that the African population is young, etc. That's true. But the space matters in Africa is also, is young, the space matter in Africa. We should learn it. We should know how to do it. Therefore, be young, be old. We Africans, we need to be trained. And to be able to do that, you are right. The Pan-African University for Space Science, should be in South Africa. And the African Union Commission is still in negotiation with the South African government. And before the COVID, since South Africa is now the president of the Union, we got several very good messages, meaning the South African government was taking it seriously as one of the priorities. Unfortunately, again, the COVID came, because when we talk about the Pan-African Space Science University, it is about funding also. It is about money. The hosting countries usually, we have to be patient, but it is clear that, on the 5 institutes that were supposed to compose the Pan-African University, 4 have been established already. The space one is the latest one. It will be a reality. We are continuing working with the South African government, and South Africa is one of the pioneers in the space matters. They know very well what it will bring. And the president, the CEO of the SANSA, South African Space Agency, is one of the pioneers of the space policy and strategy. But therefore, they are committed, they are engaged, and we are more than hopeful that it will happen very soon.
Awesome. We look forward to that. The GMES and Africa program is currently ongoing. What is the current status of this, and when is the project supposed to be completed?
Yes, another tricky question, but I think the African colleagues will see me being very positive. It is not about philosophy. It is really the reality. We did a lot. First of all, I would like to thank the European Commission. It is an opportunity to thank the partners when we are doing several good things together. GMES and Africa, Global Monitoring for Environment and Security in Africa, is to use the Earth observation, meaning the Copernicus data, for natural resources and water service, and also for marine and coastal area. Just to remind people that are not aware of GMES. And it is funded by the European Commission and the African Union Commission. And the European Commission is investing more than 29 million euro in this business for 3 years, 3 to 4 years. Now, it started in 2017. We signed the agreement in December 2016, and in 2017, we started, with the call for proposals, etc. The program implementation really started, effective implementation started in 2018. Why? As again, I told you, we are dealing with the continent. It is not a country. The time to cover all the things, the process is a little bit long. Then in 2018, it started. Today, I will tell you that we have several achievements. First of all, to come back to the training, thanks to GMES and Africa, we have more than 800 people trained in Africa, and we have the database for that. Secondly, we have created the digital learning platform, where you have more than 50 courses uploaded, courses developed by African institutions. GMES in Africa, it is about 122 African institutions involved in it from 45 African countries, 12 consortia. That is fantastic. Third, I will tell you that in terms of achievement, GMES in Africa promoted the use of earth observation for several applications. We have 15 applications covered. I will give you a concrete example. The Centre de Suivi Écologique of Dakar, CSE, they succeeded in updating 14 wetland management plans in 9 Western African countries using Copernicus data. University of Ghana, they succeeded developing innovative products for fishermen in providing them with information with respect to the ocean weather forecasting. When you go to CSIR in South Africa, they did the same fantastic job. SICOS in Brazzaville, in Congo-Kinshasa, they are working on water navigability and water balance in Central Africa. They developed an innovative product for the captains of the boats just to see the several obstacles in the water when they are moving with their boats, meaning to reinforce their security. When we look at Eastern Africa, the land degradation with Asia Maldi, the seasonal agricultural monitoring with ICPAC. When you go to North Africa, you have NAS working on weather forecast, marine weather forecast, but also on the potential fishing zones. And you also have OSS, Observatory of Sahara and Sahel, working on land degradation and also on water balance. Again, when you look at all these things, it is a lot of achievement. And again, we are reinforcing the capacity of the universities. GMES in Africa, as I told you, it is made up of consortia. We have 12 consortia. Each consortia has 5 partners coming from 5 different countries, at least. And among them, it was mandatory to have academia. And today, I will tell you, we have more than 15 universities participating in GMES in Africa. And it was mandatory also to contract out services with African private sector. Today, more than 20 African companies, private companies, are involved in GMES in Africa. You see, that is the first phase of GMES. because it was supposed to finish by end of December this year. Because of COVID, we were expecting the end by March 2021. And now, since the COVID is taking more time, because initially we were thinking that from June we could start working again as usual, but as you can see, COVID impact is still going. Therefore, AUC has started discussing with the European Commission on the extension until December 2021 for the first phase. And the GMS second phase, this is what is interesting with GMS in Africa. It is not like one-shot deal, meaning the program is finished and finished. No, with the European Commission, we are now currently discussing the modalities and the different practical elements for the second phase, which is supposed to start in November, December 2021. That is what I can say about your question. Simple question, but as I said, it is a tricky question, and I have to put on the table what has been done so far.
In 2018, you had the first GMES and Africa conference in Libreville in Gabon. And I think you were supposed to have another conference this year. Has that been postponed till next year or cancelled?
Yeah, you are right. You know, the GMS and Africa Forum is for us a show. When I say a show, it is where you bring decision makers, scientists, and all other kind of stakeholders. It is a huge forum. In Gabon, it was 400 to 500 people. Therefore, this is the kind of meeting you don't do online.
Yes.
It was supposed to be done this year. Unfortunately, again, because of the COVID, we postponed that for next year. We are planning to get it done around June 2021. That is what is in the pipeline for now. But again, we hope that the COVID will be mitigated soon to allow us to move forward.
Okay, great. Obviously, the space industry has been impacted by the pandemic. Even from a lot of the answers that you gave, a lot of things have been delayed because of the pandemic. We also did a survey of some national space programs and some commercial space companies in Africa to see how the pandemic is actually affecting them. And while some are able to capitalize on the pandemic to roll out new products and services, a lot of others are majorly impacted. I think my last question is, what contributions, or how do you think the African Union space program, how do you think it has been able to contribute to mitigating the effect of the pandemic at the regional level?
Yeah, good question. It is clear for us that, and that is obvious that the space industry was affected, hugely affected. Why I say hugely affected? As all economic sectors. And what is important here is to look at, because the space industry in Africa, we are focusing on the African industry, owned industry, meaning the space private sector owned by Africans. That is our main target. There are a few, and they are even starting. With the COVID, it is clear that the impact is huge and dramatic. Honestly, nobody was prepared for this kind of pandemic. The ideal situation would like that African Union even consider supporting these companies to go through, in addition to the national, actions or political action to sustain or to support the private sectors. Unfortunately, we never saw that pandemic coming. We are now learning from that, and soon we will start discussing about this kind of support to the private sector. But secondly, what is interesting, through GMES and Africa, some of the consortia contributed a lot in RCMRD, for example. You have the Centre de Suivi Écologique of Dakar. They contributed a lot in providing some information on the progress of the COVID, on daily basis even. But these initiatives, despite the fact that we were supporting them, we were encouraging them, we didn't fund them. We just allowed them to use part of GMES and Africa budget. That is our complete contribution, to be flexible, you know. But we also know that all institutions within GMES and Africa or involved in GMES and Africa are not at the same level. Some are very strong, some are in medium, and some are weak. But this is how you build, you know, a team. And to be sincere with you, the African Union Commission didn't develop a specific program for that, as I explained to you. But we are more than conscious. At least we want to be able in the upcoming month to support the African Union Center for Diseases, CDC, which is sharing the information at the continental level and even creating awareness. We want to be able to support them with space products and services to make it a comprehensive package for Africans. That is something we are thinking of.
Awesome. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the update on the African space policy and strategy, the implementation, the African Space Agency, and the progress on the GMES and Africa program. It's true, we've been seeing a lot of maps being created by a lot of these consortia to, you know, to track pandemic across, you know, national level and even regional level. And even recently, the blast that happened in Lebanon, we saw RCMRD creating some interactive map and, you know, products that help to actually see what happened. And that's really impressive. Thank you very much, sir, for taking time to do this today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Temidayo. On behalf of the African Union Commission, as I said during the introduction, we want to encourage young people like you guys. You have to take your place. Africa will never be developed by someone else. It will be developed by Africans. And it is finished the time where we are complaining. We have to do it. Wole Soyinka, one of the greatest writers from Nigeria, said, if you allow me to translate that a little bit, a tiger should not claim that he is a tiger. He should jump on its target. We Africans, we should not complain. If our fight is the same as our fathers and ancestors, who fought a lot against the colonization, they did their job. That was the appropriate fight at that time. Today, we have to do it. We have to defend the interests of Africa, not in closing Africa, in going towards or to those who know, who have been there before. We learn and we adapt it, and tomorrow we'll develop our own products and services. Space is a common resource. We have to be there to take our share. We didn't have time to talk about the space law. We didn't have the regulatory challenges, things like that. These are the areas where Africans should come and take their place, as they have to do for communication. People don't know that communication is the power in all kinds of activities, space included. We need people from economy to come and take their place. You see, space is a package. It is not only for scientists. And we are counting on you to continue promoting, creating awareness, and advocating for Africa. Thank you a lot for that opportunity, and we are more than happy. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.